It started
even a little bit before that. Well, at the very beginning, it was for us in the company, it was like we just wanted to do something that was science fiction. We hadn't really done science fiction, we did fantasy, and I wanted something that could bring sort of the animatronics and stuff that we were doing for feature films and even some of the stuff that we were doing like on dinosaurs, but be able to bring it to a science fiction show. And then I think at the very beginning it was, we're going to do Cheers, but it's going to be Star Wars Bar. You know, it's kind of that. Let's mix Cheers and Star Wars Bar. Well, I think we couldn't be further from our show. That's not at all where we ended up. But so initially it was, we knew we wanted to go into science fiction. We didn't know whether it was mostly a comedic direction because that was mostly what our company was known for. But then we really wanted to go into something that was much more exciting and more adventurous, and that's when Rockney came on. Rockney came in real early.
Given it was 93, I believe it was 93, and when I met with Brian, and I think the brief was we want to do kind of the cantina scene, but also something to show off the feature shop and kind of everything that they could do. So I went away and kind of, with this incredible opportunity, say, okay, if Brian Henson is telling me that I can have essentially however many creatures I want and any size that I want, I figured let's just make it a show that's entirely about aliens with one human from Earth. And that's kind of was the starting place. And there's just a lot of really fun exchanges with Brian in terms of like what we could do. I remember Brian saying that when we were designing pilot, that he wanted to create, he'd done a show, Dinosaurs, right?
Right, yeah.
For ABC, that had this giant character named
Richfield, yeah.
Who was giant. So Brian wanted like the biggest puppet that they could do. And I wanted Rigel to be as small as he could be
and still do it.
Yeah. So because I said, my thing was, could he be like 12 inches tall because he's a ruler? And so he's not quite as 12 inches tall. It was just, to me, it was just this phenomenal opportunity, and then it was finding these folks and
we're bringing it all together. And
I was out of work. They said there was a check involved. They said they were shooting in Australia, and I thought Lederhosen, Europe. I thought I was going to be yodeling with this,
Wait, when we were first casting, were we going to shoot in England when we first started talking?
It was Australia.
Oh, it was Australia.
It was Australia.
Because originally we were going to go to England.
Not Austria.
No, Australia. But I heard Austria, and I loved it. I read the script, and I'm a hardcore geek from way back. Love me some science fiction and fantasy, and even some science on occasion. So I auditioned about.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. You did.
No, it was. Were you in the room when I bled?
No, I wasn't. Because I was in Australia. For most of your auditions, I was in Australia, so I was reviewing.
Rock was in the room. I was there. My first audition in front of producers. I came in, I read a scene that was with the sister. Because I pulled out my original Farscape script, and it's different from what we shot, but I was reading this scene, and it was a hot day, and I had a jacket on, and I was sweating. And Rock's looking at me, kind of oddly, while I'm doing this scene, and he kind of points at me, but seems to be incapable of saying something. And I think he said something like, "Are you all right?" And I thought, this must not be a good audition. and I reached up to wipe the sweat off my brow and nose, and it was blood.
There was like this one single line of blood that just started. It wasn't even the hairline. I think it was like
It's in the middle of my forehead.
I've never seen that before on a human body. Somehow this was happening, and you don't want to interrupt an actor. He's in the middle of this thing. Will I have to be, applying some sort of resuscitation or something? So, but he survived, and essentially that was the reason why we hired him.
Yeah.
We lucked out,
But I remember.
After the world was already created, so kind of what was that like for you, kind of coming into the crew of Moya and everything?
So cool, because all my life growing up, I've been obsessed with the Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. So when I saw the Jim Henson logo on the audition, included with the audition, I was losing my mind. And I rang my mum up immediately and I said, Mum, I'm auditioning for an alien. And my mum's a crazy hippie. She lived pretty much brought up on a hippie commune. And she goes, oh, I know you're gonna get it because you've grown up with aliens your whole life. So I was over the moon, and to be honest with you, I wasn't a big, I think one of the first times, no, actually, we've been working together for a few days, and you said, oh, there's, a bit of a following, and a bit. And I was just so blown away by how many amazing people loved and supported the show, and Australia, we're a pretty backwards little country, we're pretty small, so there's nothing really, I don't think Australia had ever seen anything on the scale of Farscape before. This is huge. So very blessed to be involved with it.
So are we.
This sort of tribal almost influence that went into the design and everything, it got more primitive. It was like almost a primitive science fiction. It was really cool. And then I know we got to the point where we were saying it was like our amplifiers go to 11. It was sort of like we were saying on our show, the emotions go to 11. let it really get to that sort of wild, energetic place. And actually making the show had a wild energy to it. I think Star Trek at the time was shooting an episode in 9 days, or maybe 10 days, and they're on their pattern shoot. By the time we were going with a full flow, we were shooting an episode every 6 days. So, and our shows were much bigger. So it was wild how much was going on every day, and at one point we split the cast in half, as you remember, and that was to help to take a little bit of pressure off of the 3-hour makeups that Gigi was going through, and Anthony and Virginia, because those guys going through 3-hour makeups and having to shoot 12 hours was getting crazy. But we were shooting so fast, and we were generally shooting, you shoot 6 days on the show, but then you keep having to clean up that show while the next show is shooting. So it was more than 6 days of shooting, but sometimes it got so wild that the scripts would be coming in late and they went out for a rewrite, but the rewrite didn't come in. At one point, this could only happen in Australia, where the director and the cast knew the essence of what the scene was meant to do, but had no script pages and had to shoot. And they shot a really great scene, a fantastic scene. And I think, and that wouldn't, and that could rarely happen. But it really did have there was a wild energy to the whole production of we're gonna make it happen, no matter what, we're gonna make it happen, which is all there in the tone of so.
Yeah, I want to sort of add on to something that Rock said about how the show was different, particularly with space-based science fiction, and even now you still see it. There's a military structure. There's an entirely different entry point into the story. But what Rock did was what C.S. Lewis did. It's where the wild things are. It's Harry Potter, where you take a person and you put them on a transcendent journey. And in the case of Farscape, it's the wormhole. And the audience goes with John, so he becomes proxy for the audience. This wasn't being done in standard science fiction, something the Henson Company does quite often, where you're on a transcendent journey. And I think that was really big and bold for the Henson Company and for Rock, to put those pieces together because nobody was doing it. Well, we see it now. Guardians of the Galaxy has obvious influences from Farscape, and James Gunn will admit that. And we see it in a lot of stories, but no one had done it with space-based science fiction at that time. And I think it's one of the critical things which the audience that does enjoy Farscape understands, or at least intuits, is that you're on a journey and you're not going to be the same. It's the hero's journey in part, but it's also that portal to a place outside of the reality that you're living at this moment. And I think there's a huge amount of credit, and obviously I think the cast is fantastic. Gigi came on, amazing player. Claudia Black, incredible. Anthony Simcoe, just watching him must make me tear up because he's not acting anymore. A remarkable performer. Wayne Pygram. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The directors, their creativity, their passion, their dedication. There's all of these people. But it starts with these two guys. And I am eternally grateful.
Lunch, and he was exactly that. He was in full head and just in this long john kind of whatever, his underwear.
I guess he's wearing a t-shirt to buy.
Yeah,
But the
yes,
boxer
yeah,
shorts
exactly.
are
But he was in
t-shirts.
the full thing. And I said, hey Anthony, are you working today? Okay, this is I thought I'd get a laugh. And he didn't laugh. He goes, yeah, I'm working today. And this, I don't know, he was like the coolest guy on earth. I'm not going to give this guy what he wants. I'm sure that was it, but I get the laugh about it, so he always get a laugh.
I'd be wrapping up, and this strange tall guy would keep passing by saying, okay, see ya. I'd be like, bye. I didn't realise, like, we'd worked together, I think, probably for a week before I met him one-on-one without his makeup on. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Bye, G. Like, bye, weird random guy. I thought I was an absolute mean person. I'm like, oh, okay.
Who's this high-voiced Australian guy?
Yeah. And in the, going back for a second about the makeup tests and stuff like that, but I think my very first one was about 5 hours, and it was so cool because we had the best makeup team working. Leslie Vanderbilt just won an Oscar for Mad Max not that long ago. And she literally, the very first one was about 5 hours, and they put layer upon layer upon layer. And then there was even a moment where you gave Chiana some amazing fangs. And if you look it up on the YouTube channel, on YouTube, you can actually see there's a makeup test, and I'm wearing fangs, but I think I dribbled a lot, and I had a leave. I ended up losing the fangs. So there's been many different auditions and different moments that led to that final look, which is pretty cool.
Dribbled a lot.
I dribbled a lot and had a bit of a lift.
That would have been a bold choice.
For the fans, like supporting and showing up at conventions and everything for Farscape?
Well, you guys know I'm more of I am the biggest fan in this room because I stalk all you guys. And people come up to the table and you try and leave, and I'm like, no, but I've got another story. I would like to see the other convention, thank you. So I am so appreciative, as we all are. We wouldn't be sitting here right now unless it wasn't for all of you guys, and we are so blessed to have you in our lives. You know, you've literally flown me around the world, fed me, almost dressed me. You know, I'm very, very thankful. And the last few projects I've done have been completely made from people that I've met on this amazing Comic-Con circuit. A beautiful film that has actually just got into the San Diego Comic-Con Festival, film festival, that will be shown this weekend as well. Hashtag, it was made all from the love and support of you guys.
Am I allowed to have seen it?
Yes.
I'm allowed to have seen it. It's great. It's really great. Wait, I think because these folks haven't been able to see it yet, right?
No, but it's screening in the festival this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's really great. It's really great.
Yeah.
Gigi's wonderful.
and I do a lot of music as well. At the VIP meet and greet, James has thrown me into a set with the Flux, which I'm super excited about, and you better bring your rotten tomatoes because we've had one rehearsal. So it's on for young and old, but that will be heaps of fun. But yeah, I love you guys, you know that very much, and thank you so much.
We love the Farscape world, and I've been here and other cons and said we are still going forward. Here's sort of what happened. For a number of years, Rock and I decided we wanted to bring Farscape to the big screen, and that was what we wanted to do. We wanted to make a movie of Farscape, and we wanted to continue Farscape, but in movies. And actually, we wrote quite a few scripts, good scripts. Did a lot of good, hard work, and it was never Farscape. It just never felt like Farscape. And so ultimately where Rock and I have landed is we don't think that we can do Farscape in 2 hours. So what we're doing now is we're looking to a longer format, and now television is introducing much higher budgets and all of that. So that's, I can't say anything more, but that's where
we're not done with Farscape.
You've heard it here at Comic-Con. They're not done with Farscape.
You've got 50 more years.
Are there any?
weird reasons why you couldn't get on iTunes that have to do with other companies bankrupting and rights being mixed up and around. But Netflix was not proving to be a friendly home. Amazon has proven to be a very friendly home and a good partnership. I'm liking it very much. And if people want to know what can you do for Farscape, get your friends to watch Farscape on Amazon. Honestly, that's but you've all done amazingly. I mean, there's millions and millions and millions and millions of viewers watching Farscape now on Amazon. And in just 3 months, and that's what Brock and I need to be able to keep going.
That might be is like continuous.
Turn that little toggle switch on that allows it to play in the background while you're taking emails.
Well, the best part is I was talking with a fan on the way over here, and he's already introduced his kids to Farscape, and they are watching it. So you got a whole generation that have never seen it because it's 20-year anniversary, and they're a lot younger than that.
I think it's also important that you guys know how pivotal you are, because straight after Farscape ended season 4, I went around and did a signing tour, and everyone was so amazing. They're like, "Oh, we love Farscape. We're going to bring it back." And I went, "Guys, I thank you so much for your support, but it's not going to happen. It's done. This Moya is complete. Like the show is done." They're like, "No, you wait. And then you guys created the Peacekeeper Wars."
It's actually true that the Scapers created the Peacekeeper Wars opportunity. Peacekeeper Wars was basically the season 5 story, but compressed into a mini-series. And it was the fan outreach that invited the financiers who were not television financiers, who came and approached me and said, "We're going to finance you to make your miniseries finish too." And thank God, because we had, as you all know, the last episode of season 4. We could have stopped 2 minutes earlier. 2 minutes earlier, and the audience would have been happy. By putting that 2 minutes on, if Rock and I didn't do more Farscape, our careers would be done. So it was kind of like, we had to. You feel like that was a writer creation or an actor creation?
No, that was definitely that.
I think that, yeah. I think these
Our heads were so into the Crichton Aaron of it all that I don't think that occurred to to us, and I think it was just very much what you guys brought to it.
Originally, I was just cast for one episode,
Right.
so, and I was a baby, I was like 20-something, and I had no idea what I was doing. I knew how to be an alien, I knew how to be a creature, I knew that I wanted to be this bizarre thing from outer space that no one had seen before, because that was what fitted into the world of the Henson Company. But I didn't know how to hit a mark, I didn't know that you weren't meant to, you know, to interrupt people. I didn't know that you had to do a wide shot and a mid shot and a this shot. So this gentleman, along with the rest of the cast, really took me under their wing. But I remember that scene, you know that scene where Christ picked Chiana up and throws her down. That was never in the script. So let's talk about that, Ben.
So I actually read with Gigi for her final audition, and I noticed that she does a lot of moving with the character, and there's times when you need to be still. And she was at that point patently incapable of being still. But I felt like this scene needed stillness, and this scene also needed the proximity and the intimacy. And you don't know what's going to happen when you block a scene like that. And I go, okay, I'll go to the ground and I'll pin her down. So I did that with a purpose. It was such a beautiful shot as well, because we had the mist rolling along the floor, and she's there, and I'm in tight proximity. When people get close, it kind of reveals a relationship, right? So at that time, I was taking that role literally of like, I'm going to hold her down, be still, I'm going to show her that this works.
Stop!
It never really reached a brotherly, sisterly relationship, except in certain counties. Because the girls.
And on that note,